we've been looking at over the last 8 or 9 years, the sleep-wake cycle appears to be linked to the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease. In studying this further, we stumbled across the finding that the amyloid beta peptide is higher during wakefulness in the brain and lower during sleep. So once we made that observation, we wondered whether or not if you alter sleep, either increasing it or decreasing it in different ways, would that not only modify the levels of this protein in the brain acutely, but would it modify the levels chronically and ultimately result in differing levels of amyloid pathology, which might then instigate the disease. And so what we ended up finding is that different manipulations like increasing sleep or increasing wakefulness did exactly what I just mentioned. So if we increase wakefulness, the amyloid beta peptide was higher for longer. And then if we followed mice over time that develop amyloid plaques, if we cause them to be sleep deprived, they would develop significantly more Alzheimer's pathology in the brain. And in the opposite direction, if we cause more sleep to occur over several months, that also inhibited the development of Alzheimer's pathology, especially the amyloid deposition. So I think this finding, while initially only in animals, we've begun to study in humans, and we're beginning to find very similar findings, namely sleep deprivation seems to elevate the amyloid beta peptide in the central nervous system, and increased sleep, at least increased good quality sleep, appears to lower the amyloid beta peptide. The other thing that I'll talk about today is the fact that once Alzheimer's pathology begins to accumulate in the brain, we've also been looking at what happens to sleep itself. And at least from animal studies, what we've been finding is that when the amyloid peptide accumulates in the brain of an animal model of Alzheimer's disease, sleep begins to deteriorate. And if we block the formation of Alzheimer's pathology, sleep normalizes again. So this suggests a bidirectional pathway where abnormal sleep will accelerate Alzheimer's pathology, but once Alzheimer's pathology begins to occur, that makes sleep worse, creating somewhat of a vicious cycle.